Across the ages, unseen biological adversaries have claimed more human lives than every military conflict in recorded history, revolutionizing societies and permanently redirecting humanity's trajectory. Today, we're investigating 5 devastating disease outbreaks that obliterated populations and irrevocably altered our collective existence. Hit subscribe on the Record Vault to uncover more critical turning points that shaped human development. Launching at number 5, the Antonine Plague. This enigmatic affliction, probably smallpox or measles, devastated the Roman Empire between 165 and 180 CE, eliminating roughly 5 million individuals, including Emperor Marcus Aurelius personally. The epidemic accompanied military personnel returning from Middle Eastern expeditions, propagating swiftly throughout crowded metropolitan centers linked by Rome's expansive transportation infrastructure that unintentionally functioned as arteries of mortality. The disease emerged during Rome's zenith, compromising armed forces throughout vital boundary regions, reducing city populations by approximately 1/3 across certain territories, and provoking financial ruin as farming output crashed from workforce depletion. Classical medical practitioners like Galen recorded terrifying manifestations, including elevated temperatures, dermal outbreaks, and internal hemorrhaging, though remained incapable of halting the infection that endured 15 years, critically undermining the empire's capacity to secure its perimeter and commencing the progressive deterioration that would reach completion centuries afterward in Rome's final disintegration. Progressing to number 4, the third cholera pandemic, spanning 1852 through 1860. This bacterial plague eliminated more than 1 million individuals globally, illustrating how 19th century interconnectedness hastened pathogen dispersal throughout continents through oceanic vessels and rail transport. The aquatic microorganism expanded from the Ganges Delta across Asia, Europe, North America, and Africa, inflicting excruciating fatalities via extreme fluid loss, as sufferers shed up to 1/5 of their total mass within hours through unstoppable intestinal discharge and regurgitation. London medical practitioner John Snow transformed disease investigation by charting infection occurrences and pinpointing polluted water sources as contagion vectors, disputing the dominant atmospheric theory attributing illness to corrupted air. His pioneering investigation throughout the Broad Street crisis laid groundwork for contemporary population health, prompting enormous structural expenditures in purified water delivery and waste management that revolutionized metropolitan existence and demonstrated that empirical investigation could vanquish microscopic assassins formerly ascribed to supernatural retribution or environmental decay. Advancing to number 3, the 1918 influenza pandemic, labeled the Spanish flu regardless of not emerging from Spain. This H1N1 pathogen afflicted 1/3 of humanity and exterminated between 50 and 100 million individuals across merely 18 months, surpassing World War I's total casualties. The outbreak attacked with extraordinary intensity, disproportionately affecting vigorous young people whose powerful immune responses ironically rendered them more susceptible via cytokine cascades that suffocated casualties in their own respiratory secretions. Military information control among warring powers concealed initial accounts, whereas neutral Spain's transparent reporting generated the erroneous geographical designation and congested armed forces installations, personnel transfers, and nutritional deficiency established optimal circumstances for viral evolution and dispersal. Urban centers enacted facial covering requirements, prohibited mass assemblies, and repurposed structures into crisis medical facilities, swamped with individuals hemorrhaging from facial orifices, while asphyxiating from liquid-saturated lungs, though the pathogen disappeared as inexplicably as it materialized, producing enduring effects on population wellness systems, isolation procedures, and worldwide recognition that microscopic dangers could ravage society as comprehensively as traditional military conflict. Rising to number 2, the Black Death, bubonic pestilence transported by parasitic arthropods inhabiting rodents aboard commercial vessels eliminated between 75 and 200 million individuals from 1347 through 1353, destroying roughly half of Europe's complete population in history's most ruinous pandemic proportionally. The microorganism Yersinia pestis produced horrific manifestations, including darkened tissue from subsurface bleeding, enlarged immune nodes termed buboes that could expand to fruit dimensions, and mortality within days of contamination, with respiratory and blood variants terminating even more rapidly. The devastating death toll fundamentally reorganized medieval civilization, dissolving feudalism as surviving laborers insisted upon elevated compensation and improved circumstances throughout depopulated regions, diminishing Catholic Church dominance when religious petitions proved ineffective against the affliction, and expediting empirical investigation as conventional interpretations failed catastrophically. The Outbreaks' mental influence continued for generations, appearing in creative works, written material, and construction fixated on death, while recurring pestilence episodes persisted terrorizing communities until the 19th century, establishing this microorganism as humanity's most relentless mass destroyer that fundamentally determined European communal, financial, and spiritual development, and securing the most revolutionary number 1 position, the smallpox pandemic. Throughout the Americas, commencing in 1520 when Spanish invaders accidentally transported the pathogen to immunologically unexposed communities, smallpox terminated roughly 90% of Native Americans throughout the subsequent century, constituting history's most absolute population catastrophe. The virus advanced before European investigators, emptying complete cultures before settlers materialized, with death percentages nearing totality across certain populations as the infection devastated the Aztec and Inca civilizations, while their European opponents stayed predominantly protected from juvenile contact. This biological apocalypse facilitated European subjugation and settlement of the Americas by annihilating advanced native cultures, interrupting knowledge preservation as experienced members perished before transmitting wisdom to subsequent cohorts, and generating an authority deficit that Spanish and alternative European powers capitalized upon with comparatively minimal martial presence. The Outbreaks' inheritance transcends death figures to symbolize biological combat's ruinous capability, the devastating ramifications of segregated communities confronting unfamiliar microorganisms, and the establishment of imperial frameworks that restructured worldwide population distribution, commerce, and authority arrangements throughout the succeeding 5 centuries, rendering smallpox the singular most historically significant pathogen regarding geopolitical reorganization. These cataclysmic outbreaks expose humanity's continuous susceptibility to microscopic dangers that reconstruct society as fundamentally as armed conflicts, political upheavals, and mechanical breakthroughs. Comprehending these historical disasters supplies essential perspective for addressing contemporary infectious pathogen obstacles. Which outbreaks' influence astonishes you most? Post your educated viewpoints in the comments, and remember to like and subscribe to the Record Vault for additional fascinating investigations of history's decisive moments.